This is the world's cheapest f1.4 full frame camera lens. And even though I have lenses that cost thousands of dollars more than this, over the past month when I'm walking out the door and I have a choice of taking any lens with me, this is the lens I've been taking. And it's not just a cheap character lens. It's a lens that has character, but is also clinically sharp, particularly in the center of frame, which is a big difference compared to a lot of full frame cheap lenses out there. It also gives you an image quality that is a combination of an ultra sharp modern lens, but with a little bit of that vintage lens character. And I think it represents good value for somebody who wants to shoot a lens that's got a bit of a feel to it, has a bit of a vintage character to it, even feels like a vintage lens, but is still sharp in the center of frame and really takes advantage of their high megapixel modern sensor cameras. And I think this lens is going to do that for you. And in a couple of recent trips, I took this lens with me. One, I was on a houseboat trip with some friends. I went out, I brought thousands of dollars in camera gear with me, as I always do. On the first day, I started shooting with this lens, and that was it. I think it was out there for 5 days, and I didn't use any of the other cameras. I didn't use any other lenses. I just stuck with this, and I was so happy with both the photos and videos that I was getting out of it. Even in video, it gives you almost a cinema lens kind of look. Following that, I went to my daughter's graduation, and for the graduation ceremony, of course, I brought my standard zooms and my 70-200, and I used those for the ceremony, but afterwards we were going out to a pub, something just a little bit more fun and relaxing, and I switched back to this lens. I took some photos with it, she took some photos with it, and it's just a lens that just, I don't know, I thought it captured the moment. It's exactly what I wanted, and it's absolutely a joy to use. This lens is the PerGear 35mm f1.4 lens. It can be a little bit hard to find. It used to be all over Amazon, but now there's only a couple links left. I'll put those links in the description down below, but I will also put links to the direct site where you can buy it direct from the manufacturer. And at the time of shooting this video, there is a little bit of a sale, I think, on both of those links, but check the links just to confirm. Now, just having a look at the lens itself, the lens is a manual focus, manual aperture lens. It is an all metal lens. It feels much higher quality than what the price point would make you think. It has a clicked aperture ring, and it has a nice smooth turning focus ring. It also has a polished metal lens mount. It's available in all the popular full frame mirrorless mounts, but you can also use it on your crop sensor mirrorless camera if it's got the right mount. Once again, check the description down below. That will have the links to the different mounts that you can get. And to me, this gives you a very vintage lens shooting and feel experience without all the disadvantages of adapting a vintage lens. And the first one is the lens is actually small and it's made to work on a mirrorless camera. If you're using a vintage lens, a 35mm f1.4 vintage lens, it's going to be bigger, it's going to have an adapter, and it's going to be a much more clunky setup. The other thing about a vintage lens that's 35mm f1.4, it's almost certainly going to be very expensive because that wasn't a very common lens, and so you're going to pay a lot more for a vintage lens of this focal length than you are for this particular lens. And you also might get all those common problems that you can get with vintage lenses, which is like oil on the aperture blades, or even the aperture blades getting stuck or delaminating out of the elements, or dust inside. So all kinds of issues that you can have with a vintage lens that you're not going to get with a new lens that comes straight out of the box, brand new with warranty. So for that reason, if you're looking to shoot this focal length, I would probably take this lens over any vintage lens I know, particularly if you are on a budget. Now, I've got to say, this is the second time I've actually reviewed this lens. The first time this lens was sent out to me, it was a pre-production or beta copy of the lens. This is going back probably a couple of years ago. And in my review of that lens, it was not a very sharp lens. And the only way to get it sharp was to stop it down. At f1.4, it was quite soft, even in the center of frame. Since releasing that video, I've had a number of comments saying that this is one of their favorite manual focus full frame lenses on a budget. And they all said ultra sharp in the center frame. So I rebought it. And after rebuying it and using it, I'm like, oh yeah, this is nothing like the original copy I got. And all the recent reviews that I've seen on this lens have said the same thing. So some of the older copies may be soft, maybe it was just mine, but I think the current ones that you're gonna buy, the brand new ones, all seem to be very, very good. One of the great things about a 35mm lens is it's just good for a variety of things. In fact, the 35mm focal length is generally considered the best all-purpose focal length. So if you got a full-frame camera and you can only have one prime lens on that camera or fixed focal length lens, it's going to be a 35mm lens. And having a maximum aperture at f1.4 means that lens is also going to be very, very good in low light. So you've got a very versatile focal length, and you've also got a lens that once the light goes down, you're still going to be able to use it and get clean photos or clean videos. And 35 millimeters is basically the standard for street photography. It's a standard for travel photography. And although I haven't used it for street photography yet, in my travels and just general purpose photography, you can just see how well it works. And as I go through the image quality test and I give you that breakdown, you're going to see how it's just got this combination of character and features that just really makes the images pop and just have something special about them. Now, to start with, just having a look at distortion, there is noticeable barrel distortion. I mean, it's not terrible or anything, and you could correct it in Lightroom, but all the photos, all the videos that you've seen in this video have not been corrected, but it definitely has an element of barrel distortion, which is not uncommon for vintage lenses either. So I think that's a little bit of the vintage vibe that you're getting out of this lens. The other thing you're going to get from this lens is heavy vignette, particularly to f1.4. Now, as you stop it down to f2.8, it gets quite low, and at f4, it's pretty much gone. I actually like a lens like this to have heavy vignette at f1.4. That's because when I'm shooting at f1.4, I'm almost always putting a subject either in the center of frame or somewhere on the rule of thirds, and I'm trying to draw attention to them. I'm never putting something in the corner that I want someone to be looking at in that photo or video. So having that darkening the edges just really works well with those kind of photos. And generally a photo like that with a lens that doesn't have heavy vignette, I'm going to add vignette in editing anyway. So this is just going to give you a look straight out of camera, straight on the back of the camera, looking at the photos on the screen. This is the way that I really want them to look. So I do like that heavy vignette. Once again, if you want to stop it down for something like landscape, which I have done, shoot it at f4 and it's pretty much gone. The other place I expected this lens to suffer was chromatic aberration, which isn't common for inexpensive lenses, but even shooting a test chart wide open at f1.4 in the center of frame where the black part of the image meets the white part of the image, there is no purple or color fringing. So in normal situations, you are not going to notice it, but if you shoot something like trees or foliage and they are backlit by the sun or the sky, you do notice some reasonably heavy chromatic aberration. So this really depends on the situation, but in all normal use, I never noticed it. It wasn't until later where I thought, maybe I'll shoot this through a tree and see what it looks like. And I did that and I could find it. But even in my normal situations where there was some backlit scenes, I really didn't notice any. The other thing that a lens like this would normally exhibit is some longitudinal chromatic aberration. That is where you get a shift in color before and after the plane of focus. There is a very modest amount when I tried to bring it on in a test chart, but in real world situations, it's hardly noticeable at all. Now, one place that you're going to find some really interesting or crazy good or crazy bad performance, depending on what you're looking for, is the flare performance. You get strong and absolutely wild flare performance, which looks like a classic cinema lens. Now, if that's what you're looking for, you're going to like it. If that's not what you're looking for, you might hate it. But I found in real world results, it was quite easy for me to just twist the frame a little bit or use my hand to shade the front of the lens, or you could even use a lens hood to avoid that. So it's there if you want it. You can really get some trippy flares, but if you want to avoid it, it's actually not too hard to avoid. The other place that inexpensive lenses that go to f1.4 often suffer is close-up image quality, but in my testing, the close-up image quality on the lens was very, very good. You still had reasonably good contrast, and you had halfway decent magnification, so it's okay if you're using it as an all-purpose lens and you want to get product photos or food photos or just detail photos in your travel. It's going to do that very well for you. Looking at sharpness, this is probably the biggest surprise for this lens. At f1.4, wide open in the center frame, it is very, very sharp. But it gives you this very interesting fall off as you go to the corners of the frame. So in the center frame, it's very sharp. Mid-frame, it's starting to get a little bit less sharp, and there's a little bit of blur and lack of clarity. And by the time you get to the corners, it's reasonably soft. But this is really one of the key aspects or the key image characters that this lens gives you that I think actually makes it look so good. And it's one of my favorite qualities about the lens is that sharpness in the middle and that focus fall off as you go to the edge of frame. Now, this is absolutely going to be personal preference, and you might not like this, but this is also similar to a lot of vintage lenses out there. So I think that this is one of the image character traits that gives you an image that looks a lot like a vintage lens. The other thing to keep in mind is all you have to do is stop this lens down a little bit, f2.8, f4, it really cleans up, it gets very, very sharp. So if you are shooting something, you want a deep depth of field, you want everything all the way to the corners to be reasonably sharp, you can stop it down and you can actually get a pretty sharp image across the whole frame. But another important aspect about having an f1.4 lens that renders a very sharp image in the middle of frame is the quality of the out of focus areas and background blur. And I would say for the most part, most images and backgrounds are rendered nice and smooth. And the variety of real world situations, it looked really, really nice. And you get that sharp thing in the middle of frame and you just get this beautiful blurry mess behind them. But if you do have foliage or complicated or busy backgrounds, you can get a little bit of a nervous backdrop. So in some situations, if you've got a subject in the center frame and you've got some really busy foliage, you will get a little bit of weirdness. Now, this isn't uncommon. You also see this in the Helios 44 range of lenses, a very popular vintage lens. Those backgrounds can get a bit busy too. So I think the optical formula they're using in this lens is probably very similar to a lot of vintage lenses out there. So there isn't a better f1.4 full frame lens for the money. So if you're on an ultra tight budget, you want something good in low light, you want to get a blurry background, then I really can't go past this lens. Now, if you want to know what the best budget full frame autofocus lens released this year is, I've just thrown a video on screen now. This is a lens I highly recommend. It's still inexpensive. It's still a lens that's under $200, but that's also going to give you autofocus.